Good morning, my name is Hallie Cars. There are currently 50.7 million students enrolled in the U.S. public schools, and some face First Amendment limitations. Through answering the research question, how are the limitations of students' rights an illustration of the First Amendment in U.S. public schools, I can conclude that the limitations of student rights in U.S. public schools illustrate the First Amendment by limiting students' freedom rights to expressing themselves as their own individual. What is the First Amendment? The First Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights and guarantees freedom of speech, press, assembly, petition, and religion. Tinker v. Des Moines was a court case that took place in 1965 and was decided in 1969. A group of students, a couple known as Mary and Christopher, went to school wearing black armbands in honor of the Vietnam War. They decided they wanted to wear the armbands on December 16th along with the holiday season and the fasting that was going to be taking place. According to Tinker v. Des Moines, published by the principals of the Des Moines school learned the plan and met on December 14th to create a policy that stated that any student wearing an armband will be asked to remove it, with refusal to do so resulting in suspension. Those students, known as Mary and Christopher and a few others who were part of the group, decided to wear the armbands on December 16th with disobeying the rule, knowing that they had First Amendment rights, which led to suspension. This picture demonstrates Mary and Christopher, who were two of the students who wore black armbands, and the armbands did have a peace symbol in the middle. As previously relating to Tinker v. Des Moines as a court case, spiritual issues plays another main role in limiting rights in schools. Students aren't allowed to express their opinion through religion beliefs, even though they have the First Amendment rights, which also relates to freedom of religion. According to Chief Who Don't Preach, practical guidelines for addressing spiritual concerns for students, public schools as a government agency have taken this to mean that they cannot formally endorse any particular religion. This is stating that any schools are not allowed to endorse religion due to the fact that many people may not agree with what they have to say. As previously mentioning Tinker v. Des Moines and the spiritual issues, others do not agree with those statements. Others think that with having First Amendment limitations for students, there would be less distractions, which would lead to better academic grades and a safer academic environment for the students. However, according to Do Minors Have First Amendment Rights in Schools, written by Professor Chamara, the removal of books from open shelves, rather than an outright removal from the library, also raises First Amendment concerns. Students are being limited to what they are allowed to read and what they are allowed to check out of their library, which is very concerning for students because they aren't allowed to be reading what they would like. Schools and officials are limiting what books are being put out in the fiction and the nonfiction areas in the library. As my solution, school officials and districts will set new rules with giving First Amendment rights, including appearance privileges, expression of religion, and right to opinion, while still conducting a concentrated and safe academic environment. What questions may you have? Thank you.
I thought you were going to sit down. First question, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and then why did you choose not to use it?
Okay, so one thing I gathered was the time, place, and manner restrictions, and I decided not to use that because I mainly wanted to focus on court cases such as Tinker v. Des Moines and the freedom of religion as using spiritual issues and stuff.
All right, next question. What advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic?
Well, first, I would advise them to look into the First Amendment and understand what it is and what it holds. And also, I would want them to look at other outworld examples, such as the Tinker v. Des Moines case.
You're done, brief.